Hi, my name is Ryan. I run new growth strategies where I help businesses and organizations who serve other businesses work more efficiently. Today, I'm going to pick one random trade association, try to help them find 2 potential strategic partners, 3 potential exhibitors at their next event, 4 potential sponsors for the next event, and 5 non-members who could be members for this association. I'm going to build a real database. I'm going to walk you through the whole process. No slides, no theory, just the actual process. The random trade association today is going to be the Florida Swimming Pool Association. Already dug through them a little bit just to make sure this is going to be okay for this video. Basically, the short story is this is the association for every company that is related to cleaning swimming pools in the entire state of Florida. They've been around for over 50 years. They have about 800 members in their database, and they have an annual event with over 5,000 attendees. So this is a very well-established trade association who already does really well. And the opportunity here is really good because despite having a pretty good membership count, there are still considerably more pool cleaning businesses or industry adjacent businesses that could be supporting this association. So before we dive into how I'd actually build the database, I want to get a better understanding of the current state of the industry that they're working in or that they're serving. A basic Google query, brought me here to this Gemini conversation. Just trying to learn first about the Florida Swimming Pool Association itself. Turns out there's 11 staff according to their staff page. Market size is pretty big with over 1.5 million residential swimming pools. Next question was, like I said earlier, 800 is a good number, but it seems kind of low compared to how many you'd think are in the entire state of Florida, a sunny state with a lot of swimming pools and a lot of people, therefore probably has a lot of these kind of companies, right? Gemini says that there are over 4,000 swimming pool contractors operating in the state of Florida. And one of the reference sources for this was the FSPA, but turns out that there were 4,047 swimming pool contractors in Florida as of April 1st, 2026. It's July 6th, 2026, the date that this is filmed. So that's pretty recent information from Rentech Digital. Thank you. There's also pool service and cleaning companies in addition to construction companies. So there are about 125,000 of these businesses, according to some other sources here, right? So we're looking at 125,000 plus 4,000 is quite a lot when you account for both contractors and service and cleaning companies. However, the membership dues for this association is just under $1,000 a year. So I reckon most of these pool service and cleaning companies are probably not going to be paying that much. It's just going to be a little too far out of their budget. So it's probably going to be just like the 1% of businesses that are like 10 employees or more who are doing like more than a few $100,000 a year in revenue, things like that, as opposed to like sole proprietor or like 2 or 3 man businesses, which is probably what's comprising like most of these pool service and cleaning companies. Google kind of mentions this here with a one man in a truck phenomenon that it describes as, the overwhelming majority of pool service providers are sole proprietors or small family businesses, and they're not going to pay this enormous due, right? So, we take this number with a huge grain of salt, but pool construction companies certainly make a little bit more money. And Google also notes that out of 300 licensed pool contractors in the Miami and Keys region alone, only 25 of them are FSPA members. That's less than 10%, right? So there's a quick opportunity for growth. Take this with a grain of salt, right? While these are sourced, this is, a very like surface level overview of the state of the association. And like I said, I haven't had a conversation with this association, so I don't know what's actually going on with their numbers, if this lines up. But for the sake of this video, we're going to say this is true, and just run with that. This conversation from Gemini also notes that there's this free rider effect, quote unquote, where any legislative victories that are funded by the FSPA are also beneficial to non-members, like those sole proprietorships or small family-run businesses. So they don't necessarily need to be members, even if they can't afford it, because they're still reaping the benefits of the efforts made by the FSPA, which is fine. So this is really representing, according to Gemini, the more elite or established corporate entities of Florida. But yeah, I mean, with 800 member companies, there's still quite a lot of ground to cover. You know, if there's 4,000 swimming pool contractors, we can certainly bring that number up. And then there's also the whole thing about industry adjacent partnerships, like companies who provide pool construction equipment, you know, whatever is a specialty there, or manufacturers of tools specific to pool cleaning, for example, those that serve pool service and cleaning companies. Those are industry adjacent. Those could also potentially be members, like affiliate members or sponsors or exhibitors. So we'll cover all this in a little bit. Suffice to say, while this is a pretty strong number, we can certainly help bring a lot more in with just a simple outreach strategy. To be able to build the outreach strategy, we got to build a list. So like I said, I'm going to try to find 5 potential members, 4 potential sponsors, 3 potential exhibitors, and 2 strategic partners. A non-member who could be a member would be a pool construction company or pool servicing or cleaning company. An example of an exhibitor in this case would be something industry adjacent that services the construction companies or servicing and cleaning companies. So in this case, it could be, for example, a manufacturer of pool construction equipment, or something or something that helps with the construction of pools themselves, like rebar. So in addition to using a notepad and Google, I'm also going to use an AI tool. I'm using Claude Code in a CLI because it works the best on my computer and it's got all my information already stored. But if you're already using something like Claude Cowork or ChatGPT or Gemini on the browser or a desktop, then this will also just work just the same. So now I've got a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pool contractors in Miami. Obviously, there could be a ton more. There's over 4,000 pool contractors in the whole state of Florida. An easy way to just scrape the entirety of Google Maps, for example, to find all 4,000 of these businesses is using a tool like Outscraper to make this whole list. So next I'm going to build up my list of sponsors. If I scroll down far enough, I'm sure I can find something about exhibiting and sponsoring this event. So under activities here, there's like a whole list of sponsors from previous years. Those would be pretty easy to scrape and reach out to, but we have, for example, Pool Magazine, Pool Brain. Who are these guys? Like maybe I can find a company that's kind of like these guys. Pool company software that optimizes everything. Okay. How about we research who are the competitors to the pool company software Pool Brain? Who is in charge at Skimmer? A simple search found me both an exhibitor and who to contact. We'll get back to the whole who to contact thing in a little bit, but what's interesting is for a company like Skimmer, these guys could be fantastic for exhibiting and sponsoring. So let's mark them down here. We need how many? 4 of these. So we've got these guys, Pentair Pool. They've got some products here, which is a pretty good sign, specifically for pool maintenance. It looks like. Who are the competitors to Pentair Pool and Spa products? So there's the big 3 manufacturers would be Hayward and Jandy. I'll just copy one of these down. So their website is going to be hayward.com. These guys would be awesome to sponsor or exhibit, but we'll get back to that in a little bit. Let's look at some other past sponsors from the Everything Under the Sun Festival. Who are these guys? bestseller sales alliance do. These guys are the sort of middlemen of the supply chain between manufacturers and contractors. Who are their direct competitors? So David Kahn Associates, I'm just going to go ahead and save these guys. And look at that, they're sales solutions to manufacturers in the pool and spa industry. So I'm going to add them to the list. We need one more. How about Capital Access for Pool Contractors in Florida? So Greenbox Capital is the first thing to come up in the organic search results. I'm just going to go ahead and save that. Next, we're going to take a look at some potential exhibitors. So we're looking for 3 exhibitors for the next annual convention, annual expo for the Florida Swimming Pools Association. So I came up with manufacturers of equipment for pool contractors and rebar suppliers earlier, for example, but we're just going to try to find some manufacturers or other suppliers, whatever we can find, because those would be great for exhibiting at the annual expo, right? So how about we look up manufacturer of pool equipment. So we looked this up earlier and we got the big 3, but for like structural construction and filtration systems, we have Nateri Pools. I am so sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but I'm just gonna save that. Nater. Oh my gosh, I really hope I'm not horribly mispronouncing your name. How about pool cleaning equipment? If I look who is a manufacturer of pool cleaning equipment, we get things like Matronics, who have the Dolphin. Okay, now we've got 3 manufacturers of different kinds of equipment. Last thing we'll look at are strategic partnerships. If you don't know this already, one of the things that trade association members benefit from is collective bargaining. I'm going to start with insurance. Let's say pool contractor liability insurance, Florida. First thing that comes up is this nipgroup.com. I'm just going to take that. And then the second thing we're going to look for is, how about a credit union? Credit union pool contractor lending program, Florida. Try to find one that's maybe not already a part of them. Then maybe we can say Florida Credit Union, who offers primary home improvement loans and construction financing. Great. I'm just going to go with that for this because the Lion Group is already part of them. So we'll say the FCU, or Florida Credit Union. Now I have my 2 potential strategic partners who I will try to negotiate some collective bargaining agreement with. 3 exhibitors for the next show, as well as 4 sponsors for it, and then 5 non-members. And I'm going to give it a simple prompt, and then we're just going to ask it to do some deep research on each of these leads. We're going to try to find the key decision maker, a little bit of surface level research so that when we go to reach out, we can figure out if it's the right time and what to reach out to them about. So the prompt that I came up with, I'm just giving it a natural language prompt, nothing fancy, of I am putting together a list of 5 non-members, 4 potential sponsors, 3 potential exhibitors, and 2 potential strategic partners for the Florida Swimming Pools Association. Spelled wrong. Your task is to organize my data and research each company. The goal is to find the key decision maker and the best way to contact them via email, phone, or LinkedIn. Here's my data. You'll see all my raw data pasted in from our note sheet, and we're just going to let Claude Code do its thing, and I'm going to talk you through sort of what's going on. So the first thing it's doing is dispatching research agents. So you'll see down here, it says 1 local agent at the moment, but while I'm talking, it's going to be spinning up several more local agents. Each one is assigned to each of these companies, and it's going to find everything that I asked it for. So each one's going to find a key decision maker, a way to contact them, and I guess in this case, it has 1 research agent for each pool, right? So 1 research agent for the non-members, 1 research agent for the sponsor companies, etc. They're running all in parallel. Once they finish up, then it'll wake itself up, come back with the results, and then we'll move on from there. Here is everything we found about the FSPA non-members, sponsors, exhibitors, and potential strategic partners. Like I said, this is just Claude agents going out and finding whatever it can find that's publicly available. Really just Google searched everything or went on websites and found all the information that I needed. So I found a key decision maker to match up with the company with their title, email, phone number, and LinkedIn. For some, it didn't find any, so I would just try to call their phone number. That's also fine in some cases, but in 4 out of the 5 cases, we were able to find a named person, a contact email. This one's inferred, so it's like kind of 50-50 as to whether that'll work. A phone number and a LinkedIn profile from every one of these. So if I were the executive director of the FSPA, I would be adding all these people on LinkedIn. I'd be emailing them and calling them and asking, hey, saw you're not a member yet, but you could be reaping all these benefits. Like, let's have a coffee or something like that. If we go down to potential sponsors, we've got a lot of publicly available information about the chief marketing officer, VP of marketing. Like, these are all great titles for anything that's related to sponsorship. Isn't going to be necessarily appropriate for the CEO. Like, this is all marketing stuff. And in these bigger companies where they have a bigger C-suite, they have a bigger suite of executives, then the chief marketing officer or something similar to that is going to be the best bet. But sometimes that's maybe not the case, or we just simply couldn't find it. So we'll be reaching out to someone like Jordan, the CEO of Greenbox Capital. And again, this is all found publicly available. I didn't use any, of those weird B2B databases, nothing like Apollo or anything like that. And again, if I were the executive director, I'd be emailing, calling, adding these people on LinkedIn, addressing them by name. These are all great potential sponsors for the next event. For the exhibitors, we've got also similar information. There's just no table layout in this one, but that's okay. So I have a general contact phone number and an inferred email from all 3 of these, which is fine, but it's not ideal. I would go and maybe dig a little deeper and try to see, like, okay, is this actually their email address, and get that verified. So for exhibitors, we also have like territory managers or like business development managers that would be a better fit for contacting about exhibiting, also in the realm of marketing, but is a little bit more sales focused in the exhibiting space. So we have a retail sales manager, a business development director, and a territory business manager. These are all perfect roles for contacting the right companies about exhibiting at the next event. And then finally, we've got the 2 strategic partnerships. Then these would be also, again, the director of underwriting is the perfect person I would want to talk to about getting a partnership going between the NIP group or Pool Pro and the NSPA in this case. Same with the Florida Credit Union, and in both cases we have named emails, we have a general contact phone number, but we do have an extension on one with a LinkedIn profile. This is just, whatever we could find on the internet. This is no involvement in the enrichment process for me. So if I were to do some extra digging, I'd go try to find Michael Finati's LinkedIn profile. And again, if I were the executive director, I'd be emailing, calling, adding on LinkedIn, constantly working it just to try to get some more revenue coming in, right? The last thing I'll say about all this is we can put a pretty decent financial number to this. So non-members are going to be times $9.95 for the basic membership. So we're talking $4,975 US in non-member revenue just for those 5 non-members. For the potential sponsors, if you go through the sponsorship packet, you get anything from like small sponsorship packages to up to like 40,000 in revenue, I think is what it was. But let's say conservatively that from each of these, top tier, well-paying sponsors, you're getting 10,000 from. So that would be 40,000 in revenue from the 3 exhibitors. From the 3 exhibitors, to be honest, it's going to be about the same. You could have 3, big booths selling easily for 10K. So we're looking at another 30 grand there, because usually it's based on like a revenue share thing, right? Like usually this is based on referral fees, but let's say that, something like a $50 referral fee goes to each one. So you're getting, $100 in referral fees per member times 800. It's going to be, something like 80,000 in non-dues revenue for the association, just based off these 2 strategic partners. I like to think this is pretty conservative. Maybe it's absolutely crazy. If you think that's absolutely crazy, then I'd love to hear about it in the comments. But if we add all that up, that's going to be 80K plus 30K plus 40K plus, we'll just call it 5K, is going to be, about $155,000 in new revenue, and that's new annual revenue for this trade association, right? If you watched my other videos, then you'll be able to see how effective it is to have this system automated so that you can do all the discovery and enrichment at scale, so that you can leave the outreach to the humans, build up strong strategic partnerships, and generate a lot of revenue without completely reinventing the wheel with all this. And this is what I build for trade associations. It's not a one-time list, but I build the system so that it runs systematically and really supports your team in your existing system, so you don't really have to change that much. So if you're like the FSPA and you've penetrated 20% or less of your total market, there's a huge opportunity out there to grow your membership and non-dues revenue simply by building these lists and reaching out to the right people at the right time. If you want to talk about what this looks like for your association, contact me at newgrowth.com, link in the description, add me on LinkedIn, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.